Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James. It's time for another installment for my personal games. And this one, well, it was a rough run for me. I got to play against the Jobava London against Enrique Rodriguez, and well, I got into a very bad position. But one of the good things about this was I was able to hold my own and not give in to the fear or just give up in the position, which can be a very big struggle for a lot of people. I like to preach about chess psychology quite a bit, and the idea of never giving up is very, very important. With that being said, let's go and take a look at this game. So in this one, I was playing with the black pieces against Enrique, a strong 1900 here in San Antonio. So he went d4, knight f6, bishop f4. I thought I was just getting a London system, so d5, e3, pawn c5, best move, and then knight c3 got played. And I was like, oh no, I'm playing against this Jobava London. And well, I didn't really know the best way to play here. So this was its own blessing in disguise because now I was forced, at least if you're a good chess player, you're forced to, whenever you're analyzing the game, find a better way to play against it, not just say, okay, well, I got through it this time. Because, well, I just got through it. I mean, I got an equalish position, but there's definitely better ways to fight against the Jobava London, which we'll go over pretty shortly. And here, I mean, I sat here for quite a while. The simple idea is just to play knight b5 here with the knight c7 check idea. And, I thought about playing the common a6 move, and maybe that would have been okay. This is actually a 44% win rate for white, and black's at 32%, so not too bad. 1 out of 3 games, and what is that? 2 out of 5 games over here for white winning. So maybe a6 I should have played here. Computer's saying a6 is okay here too. With that being said, I found a lot of cool ideas against this idea of the Jobava London. Here I'm definitely going to be trying out this bishop g4 idea, and it looks like black does pretty well here. I mean, if they play knight to f3 here, well, then this is the tempo that we just need, because now we just go knight c6, and if knight b5 ever comes by, well, you just play rook c8, and the whole idea of this opening is kind of dead, right? Another cool idea that I saw, which again I probably would not have considered, is to play queen to a5, and this is definitely looking like a computer move that gets played. And here white has to play correctly here, and the best move for white here is to play d takes on c5, and this gives them a pretty good win percentage here for them to play. And the theory just goes with knight c6. So if you do, if you do try to move the knight, you realize, well, it's just in a pin. The whole idea behind this Jobava London. It would be interesting to see if a3 would be something that can be played. But yeah, I guess after a3, you just take on c5. And, well, if knight b5 now, you just play pawn to e5, and yep, black's just much better here. So again, there's a lot of cool ideas here to fight against this Jobava. All you gotta do is learn one, and unfortunately, I did not know one, and here I played pawn e6, and now my opponent gets a very good position. He played knight to b5, threatening knight c7 check. Here I was already prepared, and I had played knight to a6. Pawn c3 here, best move. He's still in his opening prep. Queen b6, this is probably a new move for him, but he had probably seen this idea before. The idea here is to try and kick away the knight with this bishop d7 idea in the future. And unfortunately, I guess he didn't really know it that well. He did play the best move here, which was pawn to a4, which is trying to stabilize the knight. And so I went ahead and played bishop e7 here. You can't play bishop d7 right away, because, well, there's this little annoying move of a5 here, and I didn't like putting my queen to, well, c6 or back to d8. It's kind of a waste of the idea of playing the queen there. With that being said, well, I went ahead and played bishop e7, just getting ready to castle. And here I did see a strong idea. He went ahead and played bishop d3, and I knew this was a bad move. It's already black to move and equalize. What do you play here in this position? What is black's best move here? Remember, I do encourage you to push pause, try to find the right move. Here, believe it or not, it's playing pawn to c4. And this is a very interesting move because a lot of times c4 is very bad for black strategically. In this game, it does kind of bite me in the butt, if you will. But it was the best practical chance I could come to because, well, I'm going to be winning a pawn. But this is one of those pawns that even though you win, it's still pretty hard to play. After c4 got played, attacking the bishop, well, the bishop needs to retreat. The bishop went to b1, definitely one of its worst squares, and the bishop goes to d7. Now, the reason why I talk about this pawn to c4 move is not too good is because, well, a lot of times in these London systems, the TLCs, as I like to call them, Tory London collies, they're all the same pawn structure. What you're trying to do is go for a kingside attack, so you want to keep the center closed. And black typically tries to open up the center and then tries to attack on the queen side. So this is why the c4 move is so bad. I mean, here I did it because I'm winning a pawn, but even then you're going to see throughout the game, this pawn was not helping me out too much. And yeah, c4 gets played. The bishop retreats, and I just play bishop d7, and there's really no good move for the knight to move to. If the knight moves, I don't know, back to a3, well, I have queen takes b2, and this should just be winning the game. So here, white must give up the pawn. With that being said, again, white actually has a decent position. Here, he played valiantly, and he played knight f3, just keeping up with what he should do. If you don't take the pawn, you're just worse. So bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, and then queen to c2 here. An interesting idea here, stopping me from castling. Castling can get played here, but it's definitely not going to be the best move as, well, after castles, there's many fun ideas. Yeah, white's already having a +1 advantage now. You know, knight g5 is a move, pawn g4 is a move, knight e5 is a move. Plenty of ways here if you walk right into the attack. And so I'm already getting a little uneasy here because I'm going to have to keep my king in the center for a little bit longer. And here I did see the best move, but I just didn't have the heart to play it because, well, I have to lose a pawn. And if I just won a pawn, giving back the pawn, I just did not like that. Maybe I'll grow up one day and realize it's not all about material, but it's also about the position. Here the move I was looking at was knight to b8. The whole idea in these openings is to control this e5 square. And, well, hopefully you see it here. White can just play bishop takes, rook takes, and then rook takes on a7. With that being said, now black is actually much better in this position because, well, a lot of control over e5 has been lost. I can actually castle now if I really want to. And yeah, this bishop, the dark circle bishop, was just the best piece on the board here for white. I didn't want to do that. After queen c2, I played knight to e4, trying to close down the diagonal. And this is giving me equality in the position. Here he played h4 here. And he's just saying, you know, you better not castle, you better not castle. And I believed him. I did not want to castle here. We know e5 is a very important square, so I went ahead and played pawn f6 here, pawn to h5 here, and then queen d7. I played this move kind of fast here. Definitely not a very good move here. And it's just so hard here because I don't want to castle kingside. I don't want to castle queenside. I mean, I guess I could castle queenside, but there is just so many things I did not like about this position. I mean, again, this bishop's just really eyeing over here, and my knight's really trapped on the corner over here, and I was, you know, just not liking this position, as white can try to open up on the queen side later on. Computer's just telling me, you're okay, Jesse. It's just a 0.4 advantage here for white. So, yeah, this is one way I should have definitely been playing into. With that being said, I played pawn f6. He played pawn h5. I played queen back to d7. A terrible move here. The idea was to try and bring the knight back to c7 here. And the knight is just not looking good here. I always want to play knight b8 to get the knight to c6, which will give me a good position. But again, I just don't want to lose that pawn with rook takes on a7. And here with this simple move of queen d7, white grabs the advantage with +1 advantage here. Even though I'm up a pawn, it's saying they're up a pawn. And, well, what do you play here as white? I really like this move by Enrique. He played it pretty fast, too. So I think he understood what he was supposed to do in this position. All right, hopefully he found the move. Hopefully he pushed pause. What's the idea in this position? Well, white has a lot of potential in this position, but they got to crack through the strongest square. What's my strongest square? The e4 square here. So with that being said, he plays the very good move of queen e2. If he can get the pawn to e4, my king's still in the center, he can start attacking me. And with these two bishops here, opening up the position can only be good for him. Well, I don't want to allow bishop takes on e4, obviously, as well. Knight to d2, and he will be winning a pawn. All right, knight back to d6, knight to d2. Here he should have just played e4, and I was very scared about this move already because, well, if I don't take, he can play e5 or even pawn takes here. Again, he's opening up the position. And if he castles, it's not bad. If I castle, it is bad. So, yeah, here we played knight to d2, and I just could not allow him to play this e4 move, so I played f5 myself. And he played an interesting move here, bishop to e5. I was expecting knight f3 here to jump to the e5 square, but it works out for him in a little bit. Bishop to f6 got played, knight back to f3. I was not too worried if he did take on f6. After takes, I'd play just g takes. Yeah, and computer says here I'm completely fine. And I'd seen the best move here for white was to play something like pawn g4, trying to open up the position. But yeah, black is just doing okay here. All right. Oops. Wrong button. Let's go back to that. So bishop b5 got played. I just played bishop f6, knight f3, knight to f7. Of course, I don't want to give away this e5 square over here. Bishop back to f4, another very good move by him. If I can trade off bishops here, I'll be very, very happy. I didn't want to trade off the bishops earlier because, well, who wants to let a tempo in with knight takes on e5? Computer says this is actually okay for me. I can play queen c7 and probably knight to f7 later on too. I did not want to allow this, and he plays the best move, bishop back to f4. Knight c7 here. I'm trying to get the knight back into the game, and here we found the best move in the position. Bishop c2, threatening bishop to a4, and you have to be very careful in this position. Again, you can't castle queenside so willy-nilly as well. Rook takes a7, just loses the pawn. Here he's threatening bishop a4 for the nice pin. And of course, if I'm not paying attention, let's just say I play something like, I don't know, h6, terrible move as it makes the light squares weaknesses. But I just want to demonstrate bishop a4 can get played. And if I try b5 here, well, there's bishop takes c7 ideas here and just bishop c2. And now the pawns are getting pushed forward, and I'm just not liking this position here. All right, back to the game. Here, after bishop c2, I was like, all right, I just got a castle now. And castling was the best move. And here we played rook g1. Here comes the g4 move. He's ready to start the kingside attack. At this point, we were both starting to get a little bit low on time. I think we both were in like the teens. I think I had like 12 teen, and then he had like 13 minutes left. And so, yeah, here I played a fast move, which I'm really not too happy with, but I didn't want to get low on time, and I thought it was decent enough. Well, computer's saying it's actually the best move here. I don't like it too much. I went ahead and played king h8 here. And the idea is very simple. You know, I know later on the g file is going to be pinned, and he'll play h6, so getting the king off this file makes a lot of sense. He played g4 here, and this is one of the reasons why I allowed g4 to get played at least so easily against me. I mean, I don't think I could really stop it, but I played king h8 so fast was I had seen ideas about playing e5 here to attack the g4 pawn. And here he took on g4. I took on g4, which is best. And here he played knight e5, which is actually a mistake here. Here he should have just played the simple rook takes g4. But I think here he was worried about e5 here. But here, white is easily winning after what move do you play here? Yeah, simple chess. You just play knight takes on e5 here, and you've won a pawn, and the rook is defended by the queen and the knight. I mean, even if you try and trade off, well, you don't want to take with the knight because the tempo gets played here, and the bishop has to move back, and bad position, bad position. So you have to take with the bishop here. And again, they're going to take with the pawn, but you lost all this tempo. Yeah, it's like a plus 1.5 advantage. Definitely better for white here. And so, yeah, this is just getting to a tough position. So at this point, I think he believed in me, and he played this knight to e5 move, which I was very happy to see. You know, it took me a little while to find the best way to play, especially because I have to play an ugly move. I'm definitely going to make a video about playing ugly moves because there's a lot of times in chess games, at least when I was younger, even now, I didn't want to play this move because it looks ugly. And, well, ugly moves are sometimes just the best moves in the position. You just can't help it. If there's something better, then you would play it, right? But sometimes the ugly move is the move. So, only one way to defend here. You have to take with the bishop. Again, if you take with the knight, you're going to lose crucial tempos here with d takes on e5. And where does this bishop go to? I mean, I guess we have to go to d8. And queen takes g4. And here you can see that all these white pieces are ready for the attack. White is already at a plus 1 advantage here. Oof. So I played bishop takes on e5, d takes on e5, and there's only one move here for black to play. Please push pause, see if you can find the move. All right, what was the only move here to keep me in the game or keep my slight advantage? Oh, it's the ugly move, knight to h6. And not a move I want to play, but it's forced. Yeah, there's really no good square for the knight to move to. If you play the knight back to d8, well, queen takes g4 gets played again, and I guess I get the knight to c6. But here, there's like h6 ideas, rook g2, even castling queenside here. Or maybe even just king to d2 here. And yeah, these knights are just so poorly placed that these bishop counterparts are just so much better. And so I had to play the ugly move of knight h6 here. And it didn't take him long. Of course, he took here on h6. And it's actually giving me a 0.4 advantage with the other moves giving +3 advantage, +5 advantage for white here. So definitely white is doing well here. G takes h6, of course. And then he played rook takes g4. Hopefully nobody fell for queen takes g4. This is something I was hoping for, as after rook g8, I'm just going to be much better in this position. The queen can't move anywhere to defend the rook, so he just gets skewered here. Of course, he did not fall for that. He played rook takes on g4, and I kept up with it, rook g8. Actually a mistake here. White to move and get the advantage. What do? Simple chess here, of course. All you had to do was play rook takes, and if I play king takes, I would not play this. I would play rook takes and just give up a pawn on a7 because, well, the rook belongs here anyways, and yep, white's already equalized in this position. All right, well, castles was played. I got very lucky here. After I played my rook g8 move, he castled queenside, missing that the a pawn would be free. And so, well, in this position, I want to make some trades here because my king is very unsafe. So rook takes, queen takes, and I went ahead and just played queen g7. Very happy to go in the endgame, even though I knew this endgame was going to be tough for me. For instance, after queen takes, king takes, these double pawns take away my big advantage. I really like rook g1 here, check for white. King back to h8, or else you drop the h7 pawn, and then pawn to f4. I definitely don't see how white is worse in this position. I mean, I'll have to play rook g8, and after rook takes, king takes, I definitely think this bishop is better over here than this knight. And again, because these double pawns, I definitely think this is giving equal chances for white, if not just maybe good drawing chances here. All right, so in the game, though, after rook takes g4, queen takes, I played queen g7. He did not want to trade, and he played queen to f4. At this point, we were getting down to the single digits over here, and it was like, I think like maybe 8 minutes to maybe his 9. So he actually had more time than me. But at the next, unfortunately, he was not able to keep the momentum going. He starts playing very slow and gets low on time, and then starts making some blunders. I mean, queen f4 here was already not the best move. If anything, I was expecting queen to d4, putting pressure on this pawn over here on a7 so the rook can't move, and then playing something like e4 to open up his bishop. If he can get this queenless diagonal, it's actually very bad. Earlier, that's one of the main things I was fighting over, is not letting this queen onto this light square diagonal. But he didn't play this. He played queen f4. I played rook to f8, queen to h2, and then rook g8. I'm not going to let him take this g-file, of course. And so I got control over the only open file here. And unfortunately, here he is low on time, so he just started kind of waiting around. King b1. I played b6 at first, just trying to hold the position. He played king a2, and then I couldn't help it. Here we go. Pawn b5. Here we go. Rook d4 got played. And yeah, here the rook is looking for a rook lift to go to the f4 square. I mean, I give it to Enrique. He was playing very spirited here. I played pawn a5, of course, to play b4. And here he sets up a nice trap here with rook f4. I was so in the zone of my attack, I didn't even notice that this pawn was hanging until after I made the move of pawn b4. Only then did I realize that this pawn was taboo. He had set a nice trap for me. If queen takes e5 here, what do you play here? White to move and get a better position. Hopefully you see it. He had the sneaky rook f7 move here, where I have to play rook to g5 here. Oh my god, and I don't even know if I can find it in this kind of position. Obviously, if queen takes queen, well, rook takes h7 is an embarrassing checkmate for me. And so, oof, a very nice trap here for Enrique. Unfortunately for him, I did not see the trap, and I just played pawn to b4 here. I could trade down to endgame here, but I didn't think that was necessary, especially with the king being so vulnerable over here. I played b4, and now the threat is to play b3 check. And if I'm able to, if the bishop goes off the diagonal, well, then now I could take the pawn on e5 here and just be in a better position. Here he went ahead and played bishop b1, just losing here. And here it's white, it's a black to move and win. Can you find the move here? Unfortunately, under time pressure, I did not find the best move. I played the third best move, which is winning, but I would have preferred playing this other way. All right, black to move and win. What do you play here? All right, hopefully you found the move. Here it was pawn to b3 check. A simple idea here, but I guess underneath time controls, I was starting to crack already. Here he would have to play king a1, and now simple chess, you just play queen to d7, and with queen to a4 coming in, there's really nothing to do. I mean, where can this bishop move to? It's pretty amazing that the bishop just has no good square to move to in this game. And queen a4, a2 check. I mean, computer's giving bishop g6 here, and you can just take, although I would have most likely played check first, king b1, queen a2 check, king c1, and then taken on g6. And, well, you can't really take here because, yeah, queen a1 check. There's just going to be so many things here. Even rook takes g6 can get played later on when need be. Anyways, in this game, I missed the idea, and I played pawn takes on c3. I saw my knight b5 was coming. I saw my rook was going to slide over. At this point, now he is in a losing position at -7 advantage for me. Here he went ahead and played rook f6, the best move. Of course, taking here, I think, was just going to be a very easy win for me. Knight b5 attacking the pawn. Have queen takes e5 ideas. The rook and queen are able to slide over. And, yeah, not too hard here. I'm very confident I would have won this position. But rook f6 got played, and now I found a good way to get my pieces over to the queen side. Here I did not play the best move as far as computer says, but I'm very happy with my maneuver here. Black to move in. What do you do here? All right. Well, hopefully you found the best move, and again, what's good in one position is good in many positions, or one variation is good in many variations. Queen d7, again, bringing the queen over was the best to do. Here I tried to make a threat, and I played knight to e8. Seeing that if rook takes e6 here, well, now my queen can come over to b7, threatening the b2 checkmate. I was anticipating pawn takes on c3. I was then planning to play knight to g7 here. And, well, you could take on h6 here, but after I play rook to b8 or queen b3 check first, yeah, queen b3 check first, it's just going to be a forced checkmate here. Well, after my b takes c3 here, he saw all these ideas and he just had to give it up. He went ahead and just played this move of b takes c3, and now I just take. The rest of the game's not too interesting. Queen c7, threatening the checkmate h7. Queen g7, queen back to f4, rook to f8, queen to d6, and rook takes an f2 check, and he went ahead and resigned as, well, checkmates or me forcing queen trades are just, going to be happening pretty soon. If the king goes to a1, queen takes c3 as mate, and what else is here? Queen a3, then we have queen takes c3 check. I had about 4 or 5 minutes on the clock, so I might have been able to find the forced checkmate here, or I might have just been lazy after king a4. I might have just played queen b4 check and said, you know what, this is a plenty of good endgame for me to win, so I would have definitely played this. Well, this was my game against Jobava London. I feel a lot more prepared and excited to play it in the future. Before then, I was just like not putting the time into it, but now let's do it. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this game. We'll see you in the next one.